Rankings week here on the channel officially got underway yesterday, so we're continuing to chug along here. Every year I publish top 10 rankings for all 5 positions in basketball to continuously stay up to date on how players are performing, because in the NBA world, things can change pretty quickly, and rankings can get outdated fast. Yesterday, we started things off with the point guard position, so today we'll be going on to the top 10 shooting guards in the league right now, along with a few honorable mentions that just missed the cut. And if you missed the point guards ranking from yesterday, be sure to go check that out after you watch this as well. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. Before we get into the top 10, we'll start with the honorable mentions that just missed the cut, and the players that fall into this category are Zach LaVine, Terry Rozier, and Bradley Beal. The shooting guard position is also pretty talented across the board, so we see some quality here missing the cut. LaVine is a former multiple-time All-Star who has just not been having a very good year at all by his own standards, and is on the trade block now because the Bulls are looking for a fresh start without him. Bradley Beal has been a tremendous scorer for the last decade, but has struggled mightily with injuries this season and is still working his way back to where he once was, and Terry Rozier had been putting up some impressive numbers on a lowly Charlotte team, but since being traded to Miami, has been struggling to adjust with a lesser role. Now to start this list off at number 10 and work our way up to the top spot, we have Tyler Herro of the Miami Heat. Tyler Herro always seems to find his name in trade rumors every offseason, but he powers through and continues to give the Heat an efficient and reliable scoring option on the wing. He's putting up about 22 points per game, knocking down 40% of his threes on a bevy of attempts, and his shot creation ability is needed more than ever on a Heat squad that overall struggles on the offensive side of the ball. He was injured throughout the team's playoff run last year, so the hope is that when the playoffs roll around and Jimmy Butler inevitably powers up, he won't have to do literally everything, with a healthy Herro and now Terry Rozier by his side in the backcourt. Next up at number 9, we have CJ McCollum of the New Orleans Pelicans. McCollum is once again producing as a reliable combo guard, filling whatever role is required of him on that given night. Playing alongside guys like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson means he's not always going to be a go-to scorer or a focal point of the offense, but he comes through when he needs to. He's putting up about 19 points per game, but he's shooting the lights out this year, making 46% of his shots and a red-hot 44% of his threes, which is top 10 percentage-wise in the league, while taking more attempts from 3 than every player with a better percentage than him this year. Up next at number 8, we have Desmond Bane of the Memphis Grizzlies. Bane has been thrust into a new role this season in the absence of Ja Morant for the most of the year, and it has come with plenty of ups and downs. As the de facto number 1 option, he's been facing more of the attention from opposing defenses, so the quality of looks that he gets isn't quite as good, but he's taken notable strides forward as a shot creator on the ball, and is putting up a career-high 24 points per game, while still maintaining solid efficiency numbers. Way more of his shots are now coming off the dribble than previous years, and he's still managing to produce, but if the team is going to be at their best, he's still best served as a secondary option. Next up at number 7, we have Derek White of the Boston Celtics. Derek White is a player that truly encapsulates the phrase impact beyond the numbers, because he's just a winning player to the highest degree. The Celtics have the best record in the NBA this season, and there have been a lot of stretches where White has looked like their best player. He's even been getting some all-star shouts this season by the media, and while I wouldn't go that far, I can't deny the impact that he brings to the game. He's a highly efficient 16-point scorer who can play on and off the ball, space the floor, run the offense, and make plays for those around him, and he plays tremendous perimeter defense, locking up and doing all of the little things teams need to win games. So the impact goes beyond the box score, which is also evidenced by the Celtics being a whopping 9.1 points better per 100 possessions with White on the court. Up next at number 6, we actually have White's teammate on the Celtics, Jaylen Brown. The Celtics run a starting lineup with one big man on the court being Kristaps Porzingis, so yes, they do have 2 shooting guards out there, and Jaylen Brown has been the one that has had to sacrifice a bit for the betterment of the team. With the additions of Porzingis and Jrue Holiday, there aren't as many shots to go around for him, but he's still shown that he can be a terrific scorer when needed. He's a great defender, as is everyone in the Celtics starting lineup, and he's scoring about 23 points per game, making 49% of his shots. So while he's not likely to be an all-star this year, he is still an all-star caliber talent. Next up at number 5, we have Kyrie Irving of the Dallas Mavericks. Irving is traditionally known as a point guard, but since his arrival in Dallas, his role has shifted him more into a pure scoring role alongside Luka Doncic in the backcourt. Unfortunately, the injury bug has held him out of about a third of the team's games this season, but with him healthy, the Mavs can compete with anyone, and his creativity on the ball, ability to threaten defenses with his pull-up jumper anywhere on the floor, attack the basket with finesse, and convert efficiently, makes him top 5 at the position yet again. Up next at number 4, we have Paul George of the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers have arguably the hottest team in the NBA right now, because after an initial road bump where the team was figuring each other out, after the Harden trade, they've all gelled pretty quickly, and are getting the best out of everyone, especially Paul George. George is scoring about 23 points per game shooting the ball, better than he ever has in his career from both the field and from 3. Since the start of December, the Clippers have the league's number 1 ranked offense, even better than the Pacers in that stretch, and George is obviously an outstanding two-way wing player, locking up on defense as well. Next up at number 3, we have Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have completely turned things around after a disappointing season last year, and have been sitting atop the Western Conference standings basically from the very beginning, and a big reason why has been the leap that Anthony Edwards has taken individually. Obviously, the root of this team's success stems on the defensive side of things, with Rudy Gobert providing top-tier rim protection, but Edwards, having the best season of his career yet, providing 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists a night certainly helps too. He's who they call upon when they need a bucket down the stretch, he overwhelms defenders with his explosiveness, and he's on the trajectory of a superstar in the making. Up next at number 2, we have Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are a group that have been banged up all season long, with Mitchell himself missing 9 games and guys like Darius Garland and Evan Mobley missing long stretches of the year as well, but Mitchell has done everything he can to keep the ship afloat. He's the league's 7th leading scorer this year, putting up about 28 points per game, carrying the load for an otherwise depleted roster lacking in shot creation. He's done a good job holding his own, contributing to the team's top 3 ranked defense, even with so many guys missing games, and the Cavs are still in 5th place in the Eastern Conference standings, playing good basketball with him leading the way. And finally, the number 1 shooting guard in the NBA right now is Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. The Suns really don't run with a natural point guard on the floor, as he and Bradley Beal share those duties now, yet neither are naturally point guards by nature, so they both find themselves mentioned in today's video. Booker is one of the league's most explosive scorers, as we just saw with a 62-point outing coming from him the other day. He's the league's 5th leading scorer this season as things currently stand, while also dishing out over 7 assists per game, and after a really slow start to the season for the Suns, they are starting to find their groove now with everybody back healthy, so with Booker, Beal, and Kevin Durant, this team is looking to make a lot of noise in the second half of the season. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below how you would rank the shooting guards right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.